positive! I'm pregnant! Oh my gosh, I could have a baby! Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's Yasmin. If you have been following my social media, you'll know I'm pregnant. I did do my last video. In case you missed that video, it was my signs and symptoms that I just knew I was pregnant before I did a positive pregnancy test. And my pregnancy test was the day of my period. This is a planned pregnancy, so I was kind of like, you know, waiting to see whether it was positive, negative kind of thing. It wasn't a case of, oh, wait for my missed period and oh, I've missed a period and oh, like, you know, it's kind of a little bit of a different situation when it's planned to not planned. So that other video was like those signs and symptoms that I had when I just knew that I was pregnant. This particular video is going to go to all of the things that happened to me within the first trimester. So it's going to be a lot of information compact into one. I did record everything that I was like feeling within an app that I was using, because I just found an app a lot better to use than just writing it down on pen and paper. But so it's going to be quite a bit of information going week by week from weeks 5, I believe, like 4 or 5, up until week, like the last trimester is 12, right? So I'm going to go take it to week 12, but a lot of it starts to like taper off come about week 12 anyway. I'm going to talk to you about like the things that happened to me, like the morning sickness, the aversions that I had, things that I had just changing within my body as well, like everything. But I'm just going to say that everyone's different. Like what happens with me and my body is going to be different to what happens with you and your body, and that's totally fine. I also don't believe, actually I know that this is actually completely false, but the whole thing of like what you crave or how your body changes or anything like that determines what gender that you're going to have as a child, like what you're pregnant with, because someone might be like having one of the symptoms the same as you and might have a different gender. I know what I'm having, but it's a secret for now because it's for me, and what, you know, like it's a really personal thing that I'm not going to tell anyone about until closer to the delivery date, because I didn't find out because I wanted to, like, it was important to me. I just want a healthy baby ultimately at the end of the day, but it was part of a test that I did, which I'll go into in another video, and it's just really personal. It's between me and my child right now, and to connect with that baby, not really for everyone to just kind of like, oh, this is what I'm having, right? So I'm just going to point out though that I'm currently now, I'm 14 weeks in after tomorrow, so today, tomorrow, and then I'm 14 weeks, and I am now onto some really weird cravings. Oh, that was divine. Actually, I think that my cravings have been weird in general. Some people get cravings for soap and mud and weird stuff. I've had craving for lemons. There might be some things in here which might be a little bit of too much information, so if you don't want to get grossed out, I guess like don't. But I guess if you're watching this, I think you might be pregnant or early pregnancy, so watching it, so I guess you're kind of used to this stuff anyway. 29 days post ovulation. I go like day post ovulation a little bit here, and then I just go in weeks. Slightly queasy but not nauseous, feeling better when I ate. 29 days post ovulation. Suddenly felt like, oh my gosh, I need to sleep like now. Constipated as well, sorry, too much information. 29 days post ovulation, felt like I was turned off. Oh my gosh, yes, it was like the weirdest thing. I felt like I was turned off water when I drank it, and I drink a lot of water usually. Like I usually drink like 3 to 4 liters of water a day, like, and I have an urn, and the urn has like a filtration candle in there. So I fill it with tap water, and it's a gravity filter. So it goes down and it removes the chlorine, it removes 99% of like everything, right? But it is tap water that has been filtered. I couldn't drink it. I couldn't drink tap water. I couldn't drink boiled tap water. I couldn't drink like anything. And in Australia, by the way, our tap water is very safe to drink. It's not like America or other places. In fact, they encourage drinking tap water because it has fluoride in there, which is very good for your teeth and your bones. But I couldn't drink it. In fact, I couldn't drink. We're gonna get into this, what happened, right? But yeah, I felt like, and I drink a lot of water. That was, gosh, I can't believe that happened so early. So you just forget. 29, lower back aches and uterine twinges, mainly in the left. Weird, all other symptoms were mainly on the left. Cramps, stuffy left nostril, left nipple. Yeah, so as I was spoken about in my last video, everything seemed to be on the left. Like The stuffy nostril was on the left, my achy breast was on the left, like the twinges were on the left, like it all seemed to be on the left. Oh yeah, and then I also had like a weird blocked left ear one day and then 2 ears every other day. So the blocked ear thing, that has continued up until like, it's a little bit now, but not as much, but all through the first trimester. And it was mainly when I was outside. I'd just go for a walk or outside or even just somewhere, I would have blocked ears. Like sometimes I would have to get people to repeat what they were saying because I couldn't hear what they were saying to me because my ears were so blocked. And I believe that is like because of like the excess fluid that you just have in your body and excess blood volume and everything. Just like, well, I don't know, but my ears were blocked, and that was, it's still a little bit now, but not as much as what it used to get. Crazy dreams, but that's nothing new to me. I often have very crazy dreams. When it comes to like my food cravings and aversions, it changed. Like from what I was craving initially were things that I avoided later, and I think like it just has just completely, like it changes all the time. Like it's nothing that's like consistent except for a couple of things which I'm still turned off, and we'll get to that. So craving hot tomato and cheese, kind of like pizza and pasta taste. Yeah, so then I was just like, I just wanted cheese, tomato, like even if it was just crackers or anything with cheese, but I really wanted pizza. Or like toasted cheese and tomato sandwiches. Grossed out feeling when I saw someone on TV with a coffee cup. Yes, I was watching TV show Home and Away, and they were walking with a takeaway coffee cup, and I was like, ugh, like that. But I had kind of given up coffee anyway because I was planning this pregnancy, so it wasn't as if like I had just like that. And my nose was so stuffy that I couldn't smell it when I walked past cafes. It was just that look and that thought of the coffee. Feeling a little queasy a couple of times of the morning, kind of turned off water when I drank water on an empty stomach. Dark brown, really dark brown, hard nipples and itchy nipples. Intense cramp once a daily that would last for 10 seconds. So again, like it was usually when I was sitting down and I stood up, I would get this intense, sharp pain. I spoke about that was happening from week 3. My obstetrician said it's normal. It's a ligament stretching. It was, that kind of came for a couple of weeks and then stopped. I never really got that again. Week 5, came halfway through the week and became super, super lethargic. Can't sleep enough, but I won't sleep. But I won't sleep, what? But I won't sleep if I've slept enough. Huh? What do I mean? I was super tired then, but I remember like suddenly in the first trimester, I was so tired, you guys. Like I just wanted to sleep and sleep and sleep and sleep and sleep. But there were times when if I've slept enough, I couldn't sleep, but I was always very tired. Dark brown, hard nipples and sensitive. Intense, again, the intense sharp cramps are still continuing. Weeing more, hungry, mild queasiness. Turned off, yeah, cocoa and sweet things. So I'd given up coffee, but I was drinking cocoa, organic cocoa, of course, and I was suddenly like turned off that and sweet things. Just wanted savory food, like anything like cheese, crackers, anything savory I wanted. This isn't an 18 plus categorized video, but so I don't know how much information I can actually say in this regard, but put it this way, my libido or desire for it definitely increased, and when I was sleeping, and that's all I'm going to say on that matter because I didn't 18 plus this video, but I was like super, like it was like I was a teenager again having those sort of dreams, if you get what I mean. Had these tiny spots of blood, oh my gosh, so I had the biggest freak out. So I had these tiny spots of blood, it's kind of like the size of the top of a pinhead, only when I wiped though at the restroom, at the toilet, right? There was none on my panty liner, there was none when I weed, it was just like that. So I had a freak out, it lasted maybe a few hours, and then it went away. And could have been, although it could have been a cut, like honestly, it could have been a cut from shaving, which it possibly could have been. Super bloated, so the super bloatiness started week 5 and it's stuck. I'm still bloated. Irritable, I'm still irritable. Insomnia started, and I still have insomnia on and off. Week 6, period type cramps at the front of my pelvic area and lower back that lasted longer. Yeah, longer than 10 seconds. So the period type cramps were dull, and they have, like some days I'll have them, some days I won't have them, and they come on and off, and they're just dull aches and they last a while. Come about 1 p.m. I get lightheaded and I feel like I need to sleep for 2 hours. That's been pretty much like the past week or so, I've had some days where I haven't needed my afternoon nap, but most days, but during the first trimester, I needed my afternoon nap, indefinitely of the afternoon. The headache started at the end of 6 weeks, nausea of an early morning with insomnia and a headache, vomiting. And this is when my intense morning sickness started. Like, I can't say that I was intense that I need to be hospitalized like some women, but I had it bad. I had it a lot bad, worse than a couple of other friends of mine, and I had vomiting along with the morning sickness. I had gagging, I had reflux, I had the whole shebang. I had like migraines associated with it on some of those days, and yeah, I had it pretty bad. So every single morning I would wake up like early, I'd have some, and I would be gagging. And like, because so early in that morning, I would have an empty stomach. So I would just be gagging because there was nothing to come up. And often I would have to just eat like dry crackers in bed at really early hours. If I had a day that I was like had a really bad migraine as well, then I would be vomiting, and then the vomiting went migraine worse, and the migraine went the vomiting worse. I couldn't stomach anything on those days. I couldn't even drink water, and I would literally have to only live on Pedialyte or Hydrolyte ice blocks, and that was it. And that was what I would have to have. Can't stomach even plain water. Like plain water, I couldn't drink. At that point, week 6, all I could drink was really cold sparkling water or soda water. It was all I could drink. Like, I couldn't even bottled, filtered like still water. I couldn't stomach it. It would like, I would drink it and I'd be like, and want to vomit. Weirdest thing. Dry crackers and gagging on many foods, but really hungry. So like, I wanted to eat and I was hungry and I was jealous of all these things that people were eating and stuff, but I couldn't eat. But if I ate, I would feel better, but that changed. So at that point, if I ate, I might have felt a bit better, but then that changed because there were days when I would eat and it would just come back up again. Like eggs, we're going to get to the eggs. I know that that's like from surging progesterone, crazy dreams, felt like crying really easily and irritable. Morning sickness kicked in again halfway through that week. Yeah, I've said that. Gagging, completely off many foods. Vegetables, I couldn't, throughout the entire first trimester, I couldn't even look at vegetables down the supermarket aisles. Like, I couldn't even. The only vegetable that I could eat was sweet potato chips. That was it. I actually wanted potato chips, but I was like, no, I'm not eating potato chips. Like, there were things that I wanted, which I'm going to get to in here, which had so much self-control. I was like, no, I'm not eating that, like, because I know it's so bad for you. But then what I was eating, because it was the only thing that would stay down, wasn't exactly like, I felt disgusted with myself. All I could eat was dry crackers and popcorn. Now the popcorn I don't want to eat popcorn, like, gross. But at that point, I could eat was crackers and popcorn, eggs and cheese. At that point, I was eating eggs and cheese. That changed later. Yeah. Even now, like, I don't really want cheese. Okay, so dating scan I did at 7 weeks. That was amazing. I had a really good, dating scan. I found out, obviously confirmed the due date, which is in June 2021. Headaches of the morning sickness continued, as well as food aversions. Nausea every morning and throughout the day, but only vomited 2 days. But otherwise it was constant nausea. Managed to not vomit with sparkling water instead of still water. Crackers with Vegemite and cheese mainly. Granny Smith apples are okay. Well, that changed later because like later on I was vomiting them up. Popcorn and corn chips. Weird craving for a Big Mac burger and sausage rolls. Also sandwiches, like sandwiches as in like sandwiches, and even like sandwiches that I couldn't eat, like the lox in the box, like the Jewish jelly sandwiches with all that kind of stuff in it. That I'm still kind of digging, and I think it's more a thing that I know I can't eat it with the smoked salmon and the cheese and the capers and stuff. And probably my post-birthing meal is like that kind of a sandwich. But yeah, I was wanting burgers and sausage rolls and that kind of stuff, and I did not cave into it, and I'm so glad I did not cave into that. Week number 8. I had another scan again at week 8. I was having like lots of scans, you guys, because that's what happens when you have a private obstetrician, is you get lots of scans and lots of tests and you get taken really good care of. So sickness suddenly stopped. So in week 8, I had like a period where there was no sickness, and it freaked me out, guys. I was like, oh my gosh, there's something wrong. I need to scan again. So that's when I like flew to my obstetrician and I got another scan done and everything was fine. Then the next day it came back. I wanted to be sick again. Clear discharge. Too much information, I know, but if you don't like it, you don't like it. I had some discharge. The libido thing came back again. Reflux, gagging early of the morning, and then slight gagging a couple of times later when more hungry. Off cheese. So week 8, I went off the cheese, and I'm still kind of off the cheese. Still want dry, salty things. Peanut, butter, and banana with crackers. Or cut green apples are good. Well, the green apples thing did change. Also, I want junk food, burgers, chips. Walking past patisserie. Oh yeah, the patisserie. It's like a French patisserie, or cakes and pastries and stuff. And I remember standing outside and I was like, salivating, and I didn't cave. I'm glad I didn't cave. Still can't look at vegetables. Even I got these crackers that had zucchini and almond in them, these paleo ones, and I was like, I ate them and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so disgusting. It was the taste just kept coming up all day. It was absolutely foul. And it was like a weird feeling, like I had no taste buds. Like food was just tasted like nothing to me anymore. Like I love food, and everything just tasted bland, like bland. It was just like the weirdest thing ever. And like, I don't know, I can't describe it unless you've had it yourself. It's very hard to describe. Constipated. And I thought, what's gonna help the constipation? I've had constipation on and off, but I drink a lot of water, and now I drink a lot of have a lot of fiber. But at that point, because I wasn't eating enough fiber, because I couldn't eat much, I was getting constipated a lot easier. Then I spoke too soon. The next day I had an onset of another migraine, really bad vomiting, and was just on my electrolytes. I tried the ginger tablets, didn't really work, but I didn't really want to take any other, like the Maxilon stuff, even though Maxilon is safe in pregnancy. I just didn't want to do that. I just kind of like dealt with it. I was pretty much just eating sweet potato chips, corn chips, regular chips, and feeling like, oh my gosh, like this is just not me, because it's not me. If you know me, you follow my channel, you know me personally, you know I don't eat chips at all. Like I'm the biggest, sometimes I'll eat zucchini chips, sometimes sweet potato chips, but I'm like the biggest health advocate ever. Like that was so not me. Couldn't eat meat, couldn't eat anything, couldn't eat olives, couldn't eat anything, guys. And the weirdest thing was fruit and vegetable. Like I couldn't eat anything. It was just sweet potato chips, corn chips, and crackers, and that was it. Okay, so week 9, I did a NIPT blood test, which I'm going to go through in a separate video. Had another scan, and that was good. Nausea of the morning, food aversions, insomnia on and off, trying to curb the sweet potato cravings, because I had a little worry that I'm having too much vitamin A, right? So I limited it then to once a week I can have a large sweet potato chips. I limited myself, and because I didn't want to eat regular potatoes. I'm gonna try and eat some chicken breast, because at first I was like, I need to be eating more protein. I just have to, and I was just like, and I just so off white meat. So I'm vegetarian normally. But then I decided to eat some chicken breast early when I was like planning this pregnancy, because I needed more protein. Not that I was like thrilled about it, but I sort of did. But I was off meat, guys, like off chicken breast. I was off everything, but I was kind of, and I still kind of am. Like today I'm going to cook some chicken breast, but I don't really like it. Like I'm not thrilled by it. I'm just eating it because we're going to get to this. By week 9, I was like, I need to just like curb the sweet potato chips. I need to start eating chicken breast, get more protein, and just like suck. Feeling disgusted and eating corn chips daily, forcing myself to eat 2 slices of cheese, and it was fine. Like I didn't like it, but I held it down. I forced myself. So when I was like, okay, so I was craving red meat, guys. Like I started craving red meat and burgers, and I would watch this page Eating Up with the Hanashians on Instagram, and they just eat burgers and all these kind of things. And I was watching them, and like I remember watching this like Big Mac burger ad on TV and just going, oh, and like salivating and all this. And it was just like, I can't do it. And then I caved, guys. I've literally broken my vegetarianism on week 9, and I got some diced steak, and I cooked the diced steak, and I told my girlfriend, the only person who knew I was pregnant at this stage, I feel like having a funeral for the cow. And I still do. I still feel so bad, but honestly, red meat, beef, I'm like, I could inhale it. I could eat it every day. And I ate it every day because I was like off chicken breast, because I didn't eat the chicken breast and I ate the red meat. and it's still like being pregnant, my meat of choice. But I know that once baby comes, I'm off the red meat again and I'm back to being vegetarian, because it's not moralistically me, but it's what I want. So, and I have some chicken breast too today, but I'm not really through it. I don't mind if it's been in the air fryer because it's kind of crunchy-ish, but decided then week 9 I'm going to slowly try and introduce more foods into my diet again, because I was so disgusted with myself that all I could stomach with not making me throw up was like corn chips and dry crackers and stuff, because everything else just made me want to vomit. Twinges in my breast, mainly on the left. Week 10, nausea came in a wave, but no vomiting or gagging or reflux, the same as the next day. So kind of like week 10, the nausea and the morning sickness kind of was tapering off, which apparently is kind of, if you're a textbook pregnancy, is meant to happen. Now, some people it does go on longer than that, some people don't get it all, but it did start to well, I thought it was finished, right? But it did start to ease off. Slightly achy breast, bloated still. Can't wait for my uterus to expand more so that makes the top of my abdomen look less bloated. Yeah, I'm still waiting for the big bump to come, but right now I can tell I'm showing a bit, but to like strangers and stuff, I probably just look bloated. Mild period, tight cramps, 10 weeks and 2 days, so irritable. I'm still irritable. Ate chicken crumbed in coconut. Yeah, so I crumbed the coconut in chicken and it made it taste a bit better. Achievement, as I was so turned off it for ages. Well, yeah, I'm eating red meat, but just salty, no herbs. Tomato, chicken breast, because I feel like I have too much red meat in my digestive system now. So it came to a point where I was like, I need to start eating some white meat because I have way too much red meat going on in my digestive system, but I really didn't like the chicken breast with the tomatoes. Insomnia, so Greek yogurt and fruit and sour salty things. So the Greek yogurt I was liking, but Greek yogurt in general gives me reflux, and there was a couple of times there later that came where the Greek yogurt I vomited it up, and that wasn't fun. I craved lemons today, so week 10, yeah, I craved lemons, yeah, but I opted for grapefruit instead. Drawn to the color orange. So 2 weeks went past exactly, and I thought morning sickness and everything had finished, and it came back with a vengeance. I was vomiting at 8 a.m. Again, this was week 10, and I was like, oh my gosh, I thought it had finished, and it just came back. So that was that, a day in bed with hydrolyte ice blocks and rest and Panadol, which is Tylenol, and it was all I could do. So at 11 weeks I had another scare. It was a tiny bit of red blood, and then it went pink, and then it went brown, and I ended up spending the night in hospital freaking out in emergency, but they said it was okay according to their scan and to follow it up with my obstetrician. And I'm going to get into that later about what happened next with that when I did see my obstetrician in a separate video. This hasn't been like an easy pregnancy for me, so I am a high risk pregnancy with complications, so I do have a lot of specialist care along this way, and we're going to get into that in another video. So 11 weeks today, I'm still waiting for the NIPT results. Got my results and everything was normal, and I found out the gender, which I'm going to get into another video as well, but I'm not going to tell you yet, but I'm just going to tell you about my feelings and my thoughts just surrounding that. Eating pretty normally now, carrots and cucumber with hummus. Yeah, so I started to eat hummus, and I'm actually loving hummus almost every day now. I love it just with some cut tomatoes, so some fresh tomatoes. It's really the cooked tomatoes that I don't like, but I have fresh tomatoes and cucumber and a couple of carrots. I don't have too many carrots because of the vitamin A. Chicken breast in the air fryer. Morning sickness is easing. 12-week scan tomorrow. Period cramps in my uterus. Also slightly nausea of the mornings. Yeah, testing my thyroid, which is okay, like an ongoing thing with me. 12-week scan was yesterday at 11 weeks and 6 days. This scan just confirms like chromosomal abnormalities that may be there. So you don't need to do both. You can usually do one or the other, but I did both. And yeah, but anyway, so at that point I was like, oh my gosh, I felt so much relief, because in the first trimester, if you're pregnant or planning, you know that, and plus I'd had a miscarriage in May, like you're just kind of on edge about, oh my gosh, I hope this is viable, I hope it's healthy, I hope there's nothing chromosomally wrong with it. And so when I got both of those results, that I was so relieved, and that's when I did my social media post. I started to tell everybody. I told my closest friend, and then the next day I told everyone else. And that's just how I was feeling about everyone being so congratulative and happy for me, and that was amazing. I was so thrilled. Everyone's like sent so like many lovely messages and stuff. oh my gosh, I had a vomiting day. I thought it would gone, but I had like 1 day of it, and I thought I was going to vomit in the lifts and then at Coles and the grocery store, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was the last day I had vomiting. Like there are still moments where I feel a bit off, maybe a little bit, but not like nauseous major. I had another scare and it was a little piece of mucus, and we're going to go into this as well about what happened then there. So at 12 weeks I had a little bit of mucus come out. It was when I had wiped after using the restroom, and this is going to be continued into my next video after this as to what happened then after that. That guys, that's the end of the 12 weeks and the end of the first trimester, and I really hope you found this video very informative for you. Again, this is just like me and what happened with me in my first trimester. I'm still off like things like olives, which I normally love, olives and like sun-dried tomatoes and that, and I would love a piece of brie cheese or camembert, but I can't eat that because of listeria and stuff. But generally like the yellow cheeses, I'm just like, nah, not into that. No, not into that. Still want red meat, still want a burger, but I'm not giving into it. Still want sweet potato chips, but I'm kind of like curbing that now. My thing now is the lemons, right? So the lemons because the grapefruits now are out of season, I'm onto the lemons and hummus. Like the hummus thing hasn't stopped. I'm eating like a lot of like cut raw like cucumber and tomato with hummus every day. I have like a carton of eggs in the fridge that I want to eat because I want to see if I can eat them again, and I'm scared because there was one of those days that I like ate eggs and it was early on and it was like vomiting up mayonnaise. It was so disgusting, you guys. It was just so rank. As far as like vegetables are concerned, I'm not into everything. It's more like I'm very, very fussy with the vegetables, and it's more cooked vegetables. I can eat peas and green beans with the red meat, all cooked together with some salt, and I'm okay. But as for like other vegetables, I'm just kind of like, meh, yuck. Ooh, yuck. The water thing is good. I still haven't, like, this is still tap water. I've got the filter thing coming in again. Not really into the sparkling water now too. I'll have it like sometimes as a treat, but it's not really that good for you. And thing is now, yeah, is the ice cubes. I just want to eat cups and cups and cups and cups of ice. Like, I really do. And it's not like so much like here in Australia as it is in America, where you can just go to a 7-Eleven and go, I just want a cup of ice. It's not really like that here. We don't have like a eating ice kind of culture here. It's more like a bit of ice that you might put in your drink. So I need to figure out this ice situation, how I'm going to get that much ice for my baby. Because it wants it and I want it. So I hope you really like this video. Please remember that everyone is different again, and what happens with me might not happen with you. And if you feel like you're pregnant, just do a pregnancy test. Find out. So remember to give me the thumbs up, the subscribe, and the bell notifications. And if you want to see my pregnancy progress, I will see you next time.